Alright, hey guys, Marcus McDaniel here again for week 14. This week was a little bit different. We didn't have edX videos for this week, but we did have an interesting slideshow that was put together. It was on the quantization of angular momentum. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. Quantization. Um, but yeah, so we kind of went over new topics. It's a lot different than what we've been doing, I feel like. So I'm not sure if hopefully I did the right PowerPoint, but yeah, so we were kind of learning about hydrogen and like the spectrum lines, emissions, absorption, things like that. Um, there was also talking about quantum mechanics. So I mean, these topics were like, you know, I feel like they'd be way over my head. Um, PowerPoints, they have mainly more pictures than words, so it's kind of hard to really grasp the topics. But yeah, so uh, I'm not really sure how. Besides, just going through the PowerPoint again, maybe looking at these topics on Google, or finding another, website that has more in depth of each of these topics. That could always help. With these challenging topics. I mean, they're not easy, so we definitely have to use outside resources in order to, gain a better understanding. Now, in terms of like things that I've already known, um, it's a little bit of a stretch, but I feel like during the emission section of it, I've learned about carbon emissions, things like that with fossil fuels and all the factories and stuff. Um, so I know it's talking about a different emission, when it's talking about photons and, different like energy levels that are being emitted from these atoms. But just the term emission itself, I'm familiar with, the term of like releasing something, um, kind of like what they do when they burn fossil fuels. They make these carbon emissions. Um, but yeah, so basically, like what they were talking about the hydrogen spectrum, they were able to talk about kinetic energy involving that. They were using the waves, um, and they're also talking about when it like gains and give up photons and stuff. So losing energy, gaining energy, blah, things like that. So that's kind of similar to what we've been learning. Um, But in terms of like the stuff that's new, um, I guess like the quantum mechanics, that's gonna be new. I feel like for everybody, that's I always used to get scared when I heard quantum mechanics. I had no idea what to expect. Um, but yeah, so then in the absorption stuff, they just kind of went over a little bit more things. They introduced new terms. There was a term that was called the dark line spectrum. So that's something that I haven't heard before. But when they showed graphs and stuff and looked at the graphs, the graphs were still the same as like our energy graphs, starting below the axis and curving up to the right. But yeah, so that stuff was a little similar. They went over changes in energy. So for us, that was like delta E, remember? So um, now here they also use delta E, but they were doing it in the form of the atom's orbits. So they had slightly different formulas. Sorry. Yeah, they had slightly different formulas, but I feel like it was the same topics. We had some of these same constants. Uh, we had, yeah, so when throughout the PowerPoint, I see right here, they mentioned kinetic and potential energy a lot. So it's all about energy. So that's something that we definitely did. Now, in terms of my major, a little harder. Another stretch would maybe be yeah, like when they talked about the puzzle. Given that I would refer to my major as trying to find a solution to the puzzle, find the missing puzzle piece. So in a way that's like similar to that. And it's not going to involve the same topic, but the concept itself will be the same, or the idea or the approach will be the same. Um, so that's probably the main way that it can relate to my major personally. Um, but yeah, so this week was a little bit of a stretch, but it also showed how the topics that we're learning now apply to this other topic, the atomic, um, atom, atomic level and stuff. So, but yeah, so that was week 14. I'm not sure if we have any more of these. If we do, I'll see you guys next time. If not, then thanks for sticking around.